Hi there, I'm Steve from Eliza Tinsley, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to fit a self-closing gate spring onto our gate. You see, people don't always follow the countryside code and close gates after them, so occasionally gates like this need a little bit of help just to close them and make them secure. So let's see what we can do. Right, so here we have our gate spring. We have an 8-inch and a 10-inch option of this at Eliza Tinsley. They're really only ideal for smaller gates, side entry gates, that kind of thing, not for larger field gates. Not quite up to the job for that. Now, the key thing to remember with this, and where a lot of people go wrong, is these do not pull the gate closed. They actually twist it closed along a vertical axis. The amount of times I've seen these mounted sideways, attempting to pull the gate closed, or even twisted a little bit like that, sort of half pulling, half twisting. No, really, won't work. You'll ruin the spring. It really won't function as well as it could. So the best thing to do is to mount this on as shallow a vertical as is possible. Something along the lines of that. You could go to that sort of level if you had to, but as shallow an angle off the vertical is the best. Now, we've pre-marked some holes up there to drill this. When mounting it, do remember to mount the bottom section being the bit with the pin just there. The top section has holes in, which we'll come to in a moment. Some people say you can mount those either way or that way. Usually, we'd probably recommend doing it that way around, with the top on the gate and the bottom on the post. So let's drill some pilot holes. So we've made our marks on the gate and the post. We're just going to drill a couple of little pilot holes, help the screws go in. Now we'll just get our screws and screw this into position. As you can see, that's fairly tidy along there. That's not too much of an angle. So our spring is installed just there, but it's not really doing a great deal at the moment because it's not under tension. So the next bit is a little bit trickier. We're going to have to tension the spring. So to do that, I would always recommend wearing gloves and some sort of safety goggles. Wish me luck. Now, in the packet of your closing gate spring, you will have had a metal bar, something like that, and a peg, something like that. The peg very similar to the one that's at the bottom of the spring. The peg is used for locking it off at the top, and the bar is used for tensioning this spring. Now, please remember, if your gate is closing clockwise, we need to tension the spring anti-clockwise. Therefore, it will twist the gate closed along that vertical axis. Okay, so you imagine the axis going down there, it will twist it closed by use of this spring. So what we do, we've got our gloves on, we've got our goggles on, we put the bar into the headstock just there, and then we put the peg in very lightly to start with. Now that's under virtually no strain at all, so I think we can quite comfortably go a little bit more on that. So I think we'd probably go up to the next hole there, push that into the hole carefully, and the tension will keep it in place. That might just about do it. What you don't want to do, and I will demonstrate it, is go to the next hole, and I can actually feel quite a bit of tension on that spring there now, being very careful with my fingers on the peg. What you don't want to do is to make it too tight, because that will then put a lot of strain on the latch at this end, on the catches, the keeps and the gate in general, and will slam with far too much force. That's also likely to keep your neighbours awake if you come back at 12 o'clock at night. So we'll go back to that previous peg hole, make sure that's in there nice and securely. The spring doesn't look like it's under too much tension. It's not kinking in any way, shape or form, so that's looking pretty good. And that will close the gate without too much force. So there we go, there's the spring installed, and that should be quite a nice, gentle close. There we go, that's not going to do any damage to any of the parts. It's not going to be dangerous to slam onto anybody's fingers. So I hope that's been very useful for you. If you need any more information on this or any of our other products, then do visit our website at elizatinsley.co.uk. Drop us a line, we'll do anything that we can to help you from there. Thank you.